This is genuinely some of the worst news we've heard when it comes to Joel Embiid or the 76ers organization as a whole, and nobody seems to be talking about it. Now, my guess is that most people just scroll through their Instagram or Twitter and they see that Joel Embiid is injured again and needs more surgery and don't really think much of it. I mean, this is something that we have seen for years now. Joel Embiid is always injured. He's never playing, whatever it is. But the most important thing is that when he is playing, when he does find a way to get back onto that court, even after serious injuries where he might require some sort of surgery or some big procedure, he still finds a way to be just as dominant as he was before that injury. But this particular situation might not end that same way. Like, I'm not even trying to be dramatic for a YouTube video or try to, fear monger everybody who maybe is a 76ers fan or just an NBA fan. This injury or whatever situation he's in right now could genuinely ruin his career. It could be the end of Joel Embiid as we know it. And let me also make it very clear that Joel Embiid going down does not make things easy for the 76ers. This could actually derail their franchise for some time as well. But let's first go ahead and focus on the Joel Embiid situation. What is going on with him? Well, to be completely transparent with you guys, I don't even remember if it was a specific injury that caused this situation, like him needing this surgery, or if it was just his body breaking down in general. It feels like between this season and last season, he has been injured so many times that I'm not even trolling. I don't even know which one caused this. Was it the one off the dunk off the backboard? Was it when he tripped over the guy on the sidelines? I don't even know. But what I do know is that after further evaluation, it has been determined that Joel Embiid is medically unable to play and will miss the remainder of the season to focus on treatment. Medically unable to play sounds like probably the scariest reason we've had for a player to not be able to go. Because it's not like, oh, he has to get his surgery and recover. I mean, we're seeing Embiid say that he doesn't think he's going to return to MVP form until he gets some miracle surgery that can fix all of his problems. And you know what that miracle surgery is for a guy like Joel Embiid and the injuries that he has? It's a meniscus transplant. But the slippery slope to this is that he would be the first NBA big man to have a procedure like this. The other NBA player that had this same procedure done was Lonzo Ball. And we all know that that recovery led to him being out for 2 to 3 years. Not to mention, Lonzo Ball is 27 years old, 6'6", and around 200 something pounds, maybe even less than that. So it's obviously going to be a little bit easier for someone like Lonzo Ball to be able to get his legs back under him, but maybe not as easy for a guy like Joel Embiid, who is 7 feet tall, 280 pounds, and is 30 years old. I also shouldn't even have to mention how much more weight and just wear and tear a big man puts on his knees and legs compared to a guy like Lonzo Ball. So I mean, that alone, obviously prayers to Joel Embiid. Hopefully things can get fixed, but I don't think enough people are really realizing the amount of risk and how dangerous this could be for the future for Joel Embiid. But when it comes to the 76ers, I'm going to make a small little comparison here, okay? And this might sound absolutely ridiculous, and I might even cut it out when I'm editing this. But the Dallas Mavericks, please hear me out. The Dallas Mavericks looked at Luka Doncic and said, we don't like that he's drinking. We don't like that he's smoking. He has weight issues. He's not taking care of his body. We don't know the full extent as to what the Dallas Mavericks saw. Maybe there was some crazy, part of his body that they know is going to wear and tear over the years, and he might fall off at the age of 30. That's a somewhat realistic possibility, right? So the Dallas Mavericks said, we're going to trade Luka, blah, 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 blah. That's something that obviously it's easy for me to say this with hindsight, but the 76ers maybe should have considered doing that after the first 6 or 7 Joel Embiid injuries. Once you start to see that a big man like that is consistently falling down, his knee is getting torn up, you are removing tissue from his knees, which is making them weaker and weaker, you would kind of hope that even though he's an MVP talent, you move off of him. And I'm not trying to say this, like I said, from a hindsight perspective. It just feels like something that, was even talked about at that time. Should they trade Joel Embiid because is he going to be the guy to lead you to a championship? And well, now it's basically too late because like I said, after this procedure, we don't know who Joel Embiid is going to be. The really rough part about this though is you shut him down way too late. This is 2 months, a month and a half, way too early to be shutting him down, because now if you go for the tank, if you really go and try to get Cooper Flagg, you already got too many wins. Not saying that they still can't get a good draft pick and, tank, but you got more wins than you may have wanted if you were trying to get a guy like Cooper Flagg or Ace Bailey, whoever it may be. So that's just rough. Obviously, you hope that they just put Paul George and Tyrese Maxey on minutes restrictions and don't really do much with them and just lose for the rest of the season, because if things just couldn't get worse for them, their first round pick is going to the OKC Thunder. Now, there is some silver lining. There is some good news here. That is only the case if it's not a top 6 pick, if I'm not mistaken. But then again, that goes back to my previous point where it's like, if you only get your pick if it's in the top 6, you should have been tanking this entire time. Did you think Joel Embiid was going to come back from a terrible leg situation and dominate for the rest of the small portion of the regular season and bring you to a finals run? Why wasn't this tank happening this entire time? So that's obviously very, not fun to look at if you're a 76ers fan. At least if you're in Philly or you're just like a Philadelphia sports fan, you won a Super Bowl, which is kind of good. I mean, obviously the Sixers haven't won a game since they won that Super Bowl, but there's something there, okay? There is a championship to be celebrated. And then probably the nail in the coffin, and I'm not trying to just hammer on the 76ers here, man. They owe Joel Embiid like $60 million until 2029. $60 million a year for a guy who might genuinely be out until then. Like, we might not see Joel Embiid play until 2028 or 2027, and he's gonna get paid $60 million every year up until then. That's just not good. That's just not good, man. As for the positives for the 76ers, like, what can they do that would be good for them? I guess hope that you get, a lot of lottery luck. You get a top pick in the draft. You get the Cooper Flaggs. You get the Ace Baileys. You get, those kind of more generational guys, and you quickly build around them. I will say, as a little bit of like a future prediction, let's say they do end up getting that crazy generational talent, top 2 pick in the draft, whatever it is. I hope they still move on from Joel Embiid. Like, don't try to plug in Cooper Flagg to play with Joel because you know that they're like, yeah, it might look good. It might look good if you have a small sample size of a healthy Joel Embiid, assuming Joel Embiid actually still looks good after recovering from this injury. Even if it looks good, don't do it. Get rid of Joel Embiid, completely rebuild around Cooper Flagg. I seriously do think this is the end of the process era, and that's just sad to see, but at the same time, this might be a bit of a hot take. I don't really see the Joel Embiid situation as a what if. Yes, he has played through injuries when it comes to the playoffs and the regular season, whatever it is, but I do think he had enough opportunities. He had enough good teams built around him to make something happen. Would something happen if he never got hurt and was invincible and was an Iron Man? Yeah, maybe he would have won a championship, but just like, he had the chances. He could have made it happen. Yes, it does suck that, his career might be cut short. And, obviously that's terrible. You never want that for a player. But I just kind of hope that he doesn't turn into this, what would Joel Embiid be like if he never got hurt? Because that's just unrealistic. That being said, Joel Embiid's contract ends when he's 33 years old. Will he be the same? Will he not be the same? You can let me know down in the comments below. I read and respond to everyone. This situation overall is just very sad for everyone involved, whether you're a Philadelphia fan or you're Joel Embiid fan, whatever it is. Hopefully you guys all enjoyed. Like I said, comment down below your opinions. I read and respond to everyone. While you're down there, if you can hit the like and subscribe button, that would help out a ton. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.